And so then moving up once again, we have our throat chakra, which is, of course, right here in our throat, located between the collarbones and the ears. It vibrates blue in that rainbow theory, a very nice light blue. And this is where we're really thinking about communication, right? Throat chakra is our hub of communication. It is where we both learn to listen and speak. And so a lot of times when we think of throat chakra, we think about speaking our truth. We think about sharing who we are, using our words authentically, understanding that words have power. But often this idea of listening and tuning in the throat chakra gets kind of pushed to the background, but it is just as important. I was having a conversation with Christine recently, and she, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, she has lost her voice. And we were talking about, when we're looking at the chakras, what does that look like? And I said, well, I think the universe is telling you to rest, because she was having this cold. And she said to me, I think the universe is telling me to listen, because her voice was gone and she's not able to talk. And so what is it that the universe is trying to get her to listen to? And again, these are those kinds of connections that when we know how to connect with and decipher the chakras, our physical diseases and even our mental diseases are no longer these life sentences or these really difficult things that we just have to get through, like a cold, but they become signs and symptoms of what is the universe trying to tell me? What is it that I need that I'm not fulfilling right now? What can I bring more of into my life so that my energy is flowing? And so when we think about throat chakra is really this hub of expression. Its inherent right is to express, right? To speak our truth, but also to express the connection that we feel with people in heart chakra through our ability to listen, right? And so that's really where that next building block comes in of, yes, in throat chakra, we're speaking our truth. We're learning that our words have value. We're learning that our words have power, but we're also learning that our listening ability is a direct manifestation and communication of our ability to connect with others through our heart chakra. And so our throat chakra can be an expression of our heart chakra. Its affirmation is, I express my truth and my purpose, and I listen compassionately. And this is also a very important distinction here. If you listened to last week's podcast on agency and autonomy in your Reiki practice, we talk about a little bit in there the difference between compassion and empathy. We also talk about it on our blog post, Empathy and Autonomy in Your Reiki Practices. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend checking it out. But when we are listening with empathy, what we're doing is we are listening for circumstances that we can relate to, that we have had, that emotions that we also feel. And so the analogy I use for this, or the metaphor I use for this, is that we kind of get down in the mud with that person, right? If someone's in the mud and we are listening with empathy, we're going to sit down in the mud with them and relate on the same level of, yes, I know exactly how that feels. I'm feeling it right now. I'm there with you. Versus when we listen with compassion, what we're doing is, rather than getting down in the mud with that person, we're standing on the outside of the mud pile and extending a hand and saying, yes, I see you and I hear you and I understand. And also, I'm not going to let you stay stuck. I'm here to help and to support you. And so again, it's bringing in that love for the person from heart chakra and that understanding that they are meant for greater things, that they are meant for the fullest expression of life. And so when we listen with compassion, we're also presenting an opportunity to connect with someone and to lift each other up. And so when we're talking about throat chakra, we're not talking about listening in empathy, but rather listening in compassion.